welcome back to my channel. Today's video is 10 books to read that will change your life in 2023. I have recently rediscovered my love for reading in the last couple of years. One thing that I've realized is I'm just so grateful to be living and existing at a time where we've learned so much about what it means to be human. There's still so much we don't know about the human brain and the world we live in, but there are also so many incredible resources available to you for growth and personal development. I'm also currently filling out my reading list for 2023, so definitely leave a comment. Tell me one book that's changed your life so I can add it to my list. Each of these books has made a huge impact on me and actually altered the way that I live, so I'm really excited to be sharing them with you. Make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any videos coming your way on resetting for 2023, getting our lives together, and building routines from scratch. Okay, the first book I want to talk to you about is called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. The subtitle for this book is The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. If you are remotely interested in intentional living or living on purpose, I can't recommend this book enough. It's about how to design and control your life, how to actually accomplish the things that matter to you, and how to stop investing your time and energy into things that don't. I strongly recommend listening to the audiobook of this. That's what I did, and honestly, I loved it. Greg McKeown's voice is very, very soothing, and he reads it beautifully. The second book I want to recommend is also by Greg McKeown, and I just read this one a couple of months ago. It's his follow-up book called Effortless. It's very much on brand with a lot of changes I've made in my life this year about just simplifying and doing a lot less, trying to build systems into your life to take things off of your to-do list and actually find other ways to get things that need to get done. Okay, this next book is one that I just finished a few weeks ago, and I want to cry just thinking about it. It's called Educated by Tara Westover. It's a memoir and an incredible story of this woman who just grew up in very unique circumstances. It's her journey growing up as a child and then entering the world of young adulthood and really navigating the contrast between how she was raised and the world that she entered into. I think the contrast for her is probably more stark than most, but I really related to that experience of young adulthood and trying to reconcile what you knew growing up with the world that you're now a part of. The complexities and delicacies that can come with that and changing family relationships. It's just so good. Next is the book Boundaries. This is a very widely recommended and very well-loved book. It is Christian based, so I just want to preface it with that so it's not a plot twist for you, but I think it's a really important book. I feel like I'm constantly having conversations with my friends about the struggle of setting healthy boundaries and navigating your responsibility is and what someone else's responsibility is in relationships and friendships and family and all of that. This book does a really great job of kind of clarifying how to be a loving person and still have very clear boundaries with people, which can feel really hard. I feel like I never hear anyone talk about this next book, which is sad to me because it's so good, and it's called Crucial Conversations: Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High. I came across this book a few years ago through my church, and oh my gosh, you guys, it's so good. I'm actually just about to reread it. I want to listen to the audiobook before 2023, and I actually really want to read it with my husband as well, because this book talks a lot about hard conversations and how to have them well. One of the things that I think it does the best, it gives you language for tough parts of conversations, and if you and your significant other both have the language for those kind of awkward parts of conversations, I think it could be really, really helpful. Number 6, if you know me, you know this book is gonna make the list, and it is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I seriously maintain that I think every single person in the world should read this book. It's so good. It taught me a lot. My sweet spot is the intersection of lived experience and psychological research for personal change. I don't want you to just tell me things that feel good, and I don't want you to just tell me a statistic you found from a research. I want you to say, this is how I made this change in my life. This is the research to back it up, and this is how it applies to you. And that's what James Clear does in this book. Next up is Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. And honestly, I could just make a whole list of books by Brene Brown that you should read because she's amazing. Her information is so good. I also just really appreciate her writing style. It's really beautiful, and she breaks down complex things in a very accessible way. She's an extremely vulnerable writer, which is something I really appreciate. Speaking of vulnerability, that is what Daring Greatly is all about, which is something that I never thought I would pick up a book on vulnerability and read it, but I did, and I'm so glad. As a follow-up, if you are a manager, a leader, a parent, or in a position of leadership or influence at all, I highly recommend reading her book, Dare to Lead. I just read that one a few months ago as well, and that comes after she and her team did years and years of working in different organizations and just management teams to help them work more cohesively and just be healthier workspaces, and it was really, really good. And speaking of Brene Brown, the next book on this list is Atlas of the Heart. Now, this is one I'm still actually working through. It's such a cool concept. So essentially, she and her team set out to research, study, and define 87 different emotions and experiences. The thought process behind it was essentially, once we can define and understand the difference between all of these different things, we can communicate so much more effectively. For example, there's different definitions for things like stress, anxiety, overwhelm, which are words that are sometimes used interchangeably. To understand the difference and be in conversation with someone else who also understands the difference can be so beneficial for helping you understand each other. Okay, number 9 is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. This is another book that I will talk about for the rest of my life. I think it's so good. John Mark Comer is another favorite author of mine. He is a pastor and teacher who just has so much wisdom, and similarly to Brené Brown, my favorite thing about his writing is just how accessible it is. He takes these really complex theological concepts and puts them in layman's terms. His books have had a huge impact on me. Finally, number 10, this is one other book that I haven't finished yet, but it's so good that I really wanted to share it with you, and it's called Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. Dr. Caroline Leaf is a neuroscientist who has studied all of these concepts inside and out, and her research basically confirms all of the theories that like what you think actually changes your brain and your body and how you experience the world around you. Switch on Your Brain is about how to take that information and use it for happiness, thinking, and health. It also talks a lot about the intersection of these research findings and biblical principles and verses, which I just think is so cool. You guys, those are 10 books to read that will change your life in 2023. I can't believe how close we are to a new year. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos coming so very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Please give this video a thumbs up. It honestly means the world to me when you guys engage with my content. It helps my channel so much. I hope you have a good day, because today is a good day to have a good day. And that's it. Bye.